Hello, everyone. We are back this week to cover off on major issues which are hitting Asia Pacific and Europe, Middle East, and Africa regions. We'll start off with East Asia Pacific with Uday. Paul will not be joining us today. Probably we can expect him on Thursday. Over to you, Uday.
Thanks, Bhargav. In East Asia Pacific, we assessed two events today and covered 29 other developments. We assessed a protest in Papua, Indonesia yesterday. Hundreds of people protested in Paniai Regency in West Papua. Now, they've been protesting against Jakarta's plan to create new provinces in Papua, and this is not the first protest in the last few weeks. There have been protests in Jayawijaya Regency, and there was a violent protest in Jayapura also. This is definitely an issue to watch out for because the disruptions from a mass movement of Papuan interests will not only be limited in Papua. In 2019, during the pro-Papuan protests, unrest occurred across Indonesia, notably in Surabaya and Jakarta. Now, this is a very tense issue, and clients are advised to, keep following what's going on the ground here, and we will keep reporting on that. Also, police have increased security around the parliament in Solomon Islands. Now, this comes after rumors of riots that could reoccur as they did last November. Last November, riots broke out across Honiara following tensions between residents of Malaita province and Prime Minister Sogavare's government. Now, we released a detailed special assessment at that time, so you can contact us if you would like access to that. But the situation still hasn't been resolved, and as shown in the past, the potential for unrest is there, and it can crop up with little to no warning. Now, we've covered a lot of other issues, but I'd just like to touch upon that Rio Tinto made a US 2.7 billion US dollar investment bid to assume control of a project in Mongolia, and it's proposed to buy 49% of Turquoise Hill's stake for the amount, so it will have direct ownership in the project. Bhargav, that's it from South Asia, from East Asia Pacific for me today. It's been a busy day. Why don't you tell us about what's going on in South Asia?
Thank you there. That was a very succinct coverage of East Asia Pacific. Moving over to South Asia. In Pakistan, the wagons are circling for Imran Khan, it seems. The Jamaat Ulema-e-Islami chief, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, announced a protest march towards Islamabad on March 23rd. Now, this rings a lot of bells because Imran Khan used the same strategy against Nawaz Sharif back in the day. I think this was back in 2016-17. Rahman's followers and or JUIF members and supporters will march towards the capital in large numbers. They are expected to cause quite a few disruptions, and the security forces will be on their toes. Now, this comes at the back of a proposed no confidence motion against the sitting government led by Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party. There, what do you think? Do you think Mr. Imran Khan will survive this no confidence motion?
That's a very interesting question, Bhargav. I mean, there definitely has been a lot of action against him recently. Not only JUIF, you have the Pakistan People's Party, and you even have the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, which have said that they'll protest against him later this month. And I think it would be too early to say that he's gone out of favor, but I think the army may be trying to hedge its bets at the moment and see what to go with ahead of the next elections, which are in 2024, if I remember correctly. But Imran Khan, yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure whether he'll stay, but I don't see any clear opposition leader who could come in and take his place at this point. The PTI is still one of the biggest and most popular parties in Pakistan, and they killed all the opposition in the last election. So I'm not sure. I think Imran Khan does have the potential to stay, but Pakistani politics is very volatile. So who knows where this will go?
It's interesting there. And one other factor to observe is the army, how they play their cards in the entire scenario. Of course, officially they have said they'll stay neutral, and there were some provocative statements by the Prime Minister himself about the so-called neutrality. So we'll have to see how this evolves over a period of this month, and we'll keep our clients posted on that. And that was our assist event in South Asia for today. There were 10 other developments, and two of the major developments which are worthy of note includes the Farmers Union protests. The Farmers Union, more specifically Samyukt Kisan Morcha, will hold a series of nationwide protests on March 21st. Of course, the farmers' protests created quite a few disruptions. A year ago, the farm bill was withdrawn, but the farmers' union does not seem to really leave it be, and they're demanding minimum benchmark. Of course, for corporates who are not really involved in food production or food sector will not have a major impact of these protests. However, they'll have to watch out for disruptions in major cities. And in Pakistan, local authorities, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, set a deadline for movement of Afghan nationals across the Torkham border on the basis of their identity cards. And this is worthy of note, especially for international organizations which are facilitating evacuations or even a refugee movement across the Pakistan-Afghanistan border, or refugee movement to the west from Afghanistan, because it usually goes from Pakistan to Qatar and to other European countries. Now, with that, it's a wrap for South Asia.